When we talk about meditation, Zen meditation, we're also talking about training when we talk about meditation. And so when I say training, what I mean by that is that we're going to take our body or our self through a step-by-step process that incrementally moves you from one place and takes you to another through a series of exercises. And those exercises fit sequentially, one after the other. So the one creates a platform on which the other can now build itself. And then that second one builds a platform on which the third base can build itself. And so it goes. So you can't really advance to the 21st stage unless you've built a foundation of all those layers all the way up. What's important is that your body functions in very specific ways. And so Zen primarily deals with what's happening inside your body. And so we have to very incrementally get your body to keep on adjusting itself as it goes from one level to the next level. So Zen is quite different from speculative Zen or speculative meditation. We're not sitting there thinking, how do I solve a problem? Or sitting there thinking about different philosophical views of what life is like or could be like or should be like. It's not a mind game, and it's not it's not a contemplation process. It's a meditation process. And so the difference between contemplation and meditation, from my perspective, is that in contemplation, you're using reason and you're actually thinking. You're thinking about, okay, my life is like this, and I would like it to be like that, and this is what's happening in my life now, and this is what happened to my life previously, and this is what somebody has said has happened in their life, and this is what this great guy is saying happened in his life. And so I'm looking at all of these different factors, and I'm thinking through them to see how they align with each other and how I can use them to make my life better. That's basically contemplation. Meditation is quite different, especially Zen meditation. In Zen meditation, we are working to get the student to experience something that is happening inside of them. So there's a physiological process, like your heart's pumping. It's a physiological process, and you can feel it. Zen is the same. There's a pathway inside of you, and it's a physical pathway. It's not a thought of a pathway. It's not there's this hidden energetic pathway that feeds into all the systems and everything. No. There's an actual physiological pathway. And we are driving the student to physically access that pathway and turn it on, or get it into a situation where it turns itself on. That's the goal of Zen. So it's not a philosophy. I'm not going to give you a philosophy of think of the world like this and think of the world like this. That's not the training that we do. We're going to take you on a process using a system of exercises. And those exercises will allow you to feel what's happening inside of you. And as you begin to feel what's inside of you, what's happening inside of you will begin to show you how you can reorganize the pathways that are moving inside of you. It sounds like a strange thing to say, and it's very difficult to describe if you've never experienced it, but essentially you've got a system of pathways physiological pathways, and I'm not going to tell you where they are because I want you to feel them. I want you to experience them. And that's why Zen masters, proper Zen masters who've been awakened, they never tell the student what they're doing, because then the student tries to anticipate the experience. And then the student starts to bullshit themselves that they're having that experience. And then you have to fight with the student, because the student is determined to tell you that they are having that experience, and you have to tell them you're not having that experience. And so then they get fed up and angry, and they walk out and they go and sit with somebody else, and then they go and tell that person that they've had an awakening experience. And they've just fantasized or imagined they've had that experience, and they're so keen to tell people that they're awakened that they don't allow themselves to become awakened by following the process that's going to get in there. And so that is why Zen masters will not tell you where they're aiming to get you. I'm different. I've got such a lot of training behind me. I'm the guy, the naughty monk, who decided that I would let the cat out the bag, and I would actually start teaching people and telling people, this is what we're doing, without telling you too much that you start distracting yourself, like the example I just mentioned. Okay, so there is a pathway inside of you, and it's a physiological pathway. And the training I'm going to take you through is aimed to get you to consciously, I hate to use the word consciously, but to allow that unconscious pathway to reveal itself to you. And so when you go through the meditation and you go through the training, your body will get to a point where it feels ready to show you what's happening inside. That's the best way I can describe it to you. And so maybe I can describe it to you like this. You've got three parts of your brain. You've got your intellect, you've got your emotional part of your brain, and then you've got your sensory part of your brain. You've got, within all of that, the consciousness of who you are physiologically, and the unconsciousness of the physiology inside of you that drives you to be alive and to stay alive. And so the Zen training program is going to be dealing with those three parts of the brain, the triune brain, and it's going to be dealing with the conscious, your level of consciousness, and it's going to be dealing with the unconsciousness. And we'll also be dealing with what I call the super unconscious, but we'll get to that on a later stage. So we're interested in the things that are happening inside of you that you can't feel yet. And we're going to take you on a process that's going to get you to feel what's happening inside of you, so that you can understand why it's happening inside of you. A lot of the reactions, or your reactions to life and your reactability to life, is happening because you can't feel what your unconscious self is showing you. All you're focused on is what your thinking brain is telling you. And we've got to break through that. We've got to get you to feel what your physiological mind or brain or your physiological being is trying to show you, because it really knows what's going on. It's phenomenal. Who you really are is really, really phenomenal. And so there's all these pathways inside you that are waiting for you to touch base with them, to connect with them. And that is the process of Zen training. So the question that you're probably going to ask is, well, how do you get inside your body? So we get inside our body by using our sensory system. And so we've got various senses. We've got our ears, so we can hear things. We've got our nose, so we can smell things and we can breathe in air. We've got our mouth, which we can taste things. We can bite things. We can swallow things. And we can also breathe in air. The other thing is that we can shout out and we can puke out of our mouth. So there's a lot going on in our mouth. A lot of sensation and senses and things that are viable for us to connect with in our mouth. And then we have our skin. When people touch us, we can feel that inside. And all of these sensations are connected to something that we call emotion. And it's a kind of energy. We call it a kind of energy because it creates a reaction inside of us. Science today will tell you it's a chemical reaction. I'm not interested. I know a lot of the science. I've got a lot of scientific training behind me. But I find that the science behind things is not important because it fills your head with ideas that are not practical or useful to you. What's useful to you is that how are you feeling and why are you feeling that? The physiology behind it is not important. What's important is, can you feel what's happening? And if you can feel what's happening, what is happening? And if you can feel what is happening, why is it happening? And when you can feel why it's happening, you can ask yourself, should it be happening? Because maybe it should be happening. Or maybe it should happen differently. Or it could happen differently. So for us in Zen, that's what we're interested in. We're interested in the reality of the experience, not the science behind it, not the chemicals that are being fired through your muscle systems and the different the different chemical ions that are transporting through membranes and things like that. Knowing that doesn't change anything. If you're angry, it doesn't change you being angry. If you're sad, it doesn't stop you being sad. But identifying what's happening inside of you, that is going to help you. And that is the process of Zen.